Okay, so we prepared a short presentation for you. In KB, Komerční banka, third largest banking institution here in the country, and we decided to run a complex transformation of the entire bank. So the Agile at KB, this is one of the key pillars actually that we have. So we did our exercise. Yeah, we are really like the traditional banking institution you can think of. Linear strategy, bureaucratic, zero risk, zero operational risk, very systematic in the way we do the things. And now we are facing the challenge. I mean, the unlinear world, the fintechs, customers, So how to do about this? I mean, how to change the internal culture, the internal organization. We did our exercise, and what we actually are seeking for is the faster delivery, faster time to market on our projects. We want to become a more attractive employer. Who wants to work for a traditional institution these days? We want to spend there 25 years doing the same things all the time. And of course, we want to be more customer-oriented, customer-obsessed. If you are doing a project for 4 or 5 years, you are losing the customer. This is not the way the things are going to work. So this is what we are focusing on. So we did our exercise. We went on the different conferences. We read the books. We studied the case studies. We understand what we need to do actually. Focus more on people. Put there the trust and more decision power to the people. Put away our ego. This is clear. It's clear that we have to define the purpose, we have to define the strategy, the culture is the key, everything is clear. This is all in the books. We know that we need to adjust the spaces, put the people together, make the co-location like the key principle of the agility. We can reshuffle all the facilities. That's what we are actually doing these days. But the thing is, how to make this traditional successful institution. 14 billions of profit every year, no operational risks, happy regulator, happy shareholder. How to make this institution to change itself. For us, the agility, this is not a software delivery method only. We understand that there are some benefits. For us, it's a way how to change the culture, how to disrupt the silos. So this is the question we are facing, how to make the people feel the urgency in the change if we are so successful. So far, there are no pitfalls, there are no operational losses that we are generating. So, we don't have the answer yet. So this is what we are still seeking for. We did not actually spend that much time on defining such an urgent case for us. So we directly dived in. And this is what we are facing so far. This is what we are fighting the most. This is the KB, like the traditional bank, is like the silos, the functional organization. For every single job in the bank, we have a department, we have a special team, we have a function. We want to make a process-oriented organization. So everyone has to be capable of doing small things, not to be specialized. So this is the first thing that actually when we are designing the tribes these days, we have one tribe leader here. We don't have that many people, we have one guy per one function, and we want this person to be in 5 tribes. So how to do that? So this is the first thing. The second thing is how to make those tribes really end-to-end, how to make the schools to be really autonomous delivery units. I will put aside the architecture, the IT legacy that can actually drive you to stay on where you are. But the thing is that how to make the people work like humans together. The escalations through the emails. How does it escalate in those different colors, bold, italics, and how to make the people not write down these emails, sit together and address the topic within 1 hour basically. So this is the collocation is how to really enforce it. This is something that we are fighting with, or we will be. How to make the end-to-end accountability. And for us in the bank, it really means a lot. I know it may sound like a buzzword, but how to make the tribes taking care of front office, middle office, back office, the trainings, the methodology. And I'm not saying that we don't want to, but to really understand what does it really mean to be end-to-end. This is something that we are again struggling with the most. The controls. And for those of you that are working in a regulated industry, I guess you understand. We are not a Spotify. So even these days we are preparing the presentations, for the regulator and even for the shareholder, that we are not going to be crazy guys. We are abolishing all the control systems. How to approve new products in the bank, how to, from the credit risk perspective, even from the operational risk perspective. So this is something that we are still seeking the balance. We don't know. Actually, we have no idea how we will solve it these days. We know that we have to somehow tackle it, but really we are still completely in the fog. And the last piece is the efficiency. I was not here the whole day of the conference because we are just approving another 2 tribes to be launched, and this is this kind of culture that the way we control the things on the finance, on the FTEs, this seamless point or sense of control that the management actually doesn't have. But they feel they have it, how to make them feel better in the environment without these controls. That they entrust the power to the tribe leads, to the entire organizations which deliver the results. These days, how there's a committee, there's a bunch of wise people, the concentrated wisdom that believes that can actually manage the entire organization in this complex world. So, we don't have the solution again yet, and we don't know how to actually solve it. But this is something that we will try to achieve. We are in the middle of our transformation. We are just launching, tribe by tribe, and we will address this on the way. Where's the time? Okay. So I will now pass to
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me 15 minutes. We were quite fast. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dita Pasquier, and I am working as a tribe leader for the first tribe in Komerční banka. So we launched our activity on the 1st of August, or more precisely on the 13th of July, because it was the Monday, and my team moved on the weekend. So. In fact, I tell always that I'm agile beginner and self-learner because 6-7 months ago I didn't know anything about agile. The first time I heard something was when I got the proposal and the offer to be the tribe leader, and I had something like 24 hours to decide whether I accept or not. And in fact, I realized I wouldn't need more time to decide, because I realized that the agile world fits to my leadership and fits to my way how I manage the people and how I work with the team I lead. So then I said yes, and I launched into this adventure. I had nearly 15 years path in the banking in KB. Combining both headquarters and sales positions, and I started to learn about this agile and to think about how to structure the tribe. The first months, how it looked like, I just had to focus to find the right structure for the tribe and to launch the staffing. And I was also working with the headquarters team on general agile transformation of the bank. So I was not only focused on the tribe composition, but also on other topics and other issues. So probably just to explain why we decided to go for the term of lighthouse tribe. We didn't want to call it pilot or first tribe or whatever. So we just found out lighthouse, which sounds great, it shows the way. And this is also the big motivation for me and for my team, that we are showing the way, we are discovering, we are also doing mistakes, but that's life and we just need to learn from it. How I structure the tribe. For me, what was important that I knew quite well the products. I'm leading the business financing tribe, and the whole time working on KB, I was focusing on corporate clients. So the business financing was a topic I knew, and that's why I think it was a bit easier for me. I had to identify the processes, the products that we should cover. We cover all financing, but also trade finance product. But I will not bother you with details. A bit more tricky was to define the applications, because the KB IT architecture is not done and it's not ready for tribes. So we are facing a lot of issues, like having one application where 3 or 4 tribes are concerned. So we are discussing how to work the most efficient way. So there are some applications I'm owner of, and there are some other applications I need to share, and we need to find the most efficient way to work on. Then I need to find a logic to divide the tribe into squads. For me, the logic was mainly focused on products, so we have squads dedicated on specific products. And on the other hand, I prepared the structure in June, and I was always telling my team, we just need to launch and to see how it works, because I'm not a god, I can't see the future, and it's up to the team to decide whether they have the same logic and whether they see the same logic as I saw. And it happened also that 1 month after the launch, we decided to change slightly the structure. So we are keeping the same number of squads, but we just did some switch of people between 2 squads, because it was more logic. And this is something I couldn't see before the launching and before living it. Staffing. I got the question how I was working the staffing. So I was combining all the possibilities. So direct staffing, like I was offering the job position to people I wanted to come to join. Then I had also some people that contacted me directly. As I was announcing the position, and in the bank a lot of employees were informed about. And the third way, that we had also some open position on our intranet, so employees could just sign in, and we did some HR interviews, and we decided how to staff. And of course, there are a lot of operative issues. For me, the most difficult one was the moving, because we need to plan the moving well in advance. Know where the people will sit exactly on which desk, and so on. So it was, I don't want to tell, it was a nightmare, but it was difficult to manage, because it was a tiny thing, but it took a lot of time. So here's the structure. We don't go the way like one size fits all. This is more or less the typical tribe, how it's structured in KB. So you have a number of squads. For my tribe, we have 5 squads. I have 3 chapters covering business positions, like customer journey specialist, and then I have 1 IT chapter because as I said, I don't own some IT applications, and I'm depending on other tribes or on other IT services. And we have tribe leader. I have my right hand for IT professions is IT area lead. I have 2 agile coaches and product owner, 5 product owners, each product owner per squad. And as I said, a few chapter leaders. As Michal said, the biggest challenge is to change the culture and to change the behavior of employees, because they were used to have one line manager who was telling them what to do and how to do it, and he was responsible for everything. And usually the employees were not empowered to negotiate. They were just working like the bees, and they didn't have the direct responsibility. So this is where I see the biggest challenge for the change, how to make it work. These are the questions. I prepared the slides already in August, so I was really focused on how shall I manage the tribe. These are still my questions I ask every day. How to make it work, how to motivate the people. Ceremonies, we have like classical ceremonies in Agile with stand-ups, sprint planning, sprint reviews, retrospectives, and so on. So this is something we worked on during the whole August. And what is the most effective way to transfer the experience to the other tribes and to the other tribe leaders? So I try to communicate with the colleagues. We have regular meetings to transfer the know-how. I'm not afraid to tell that something didn't work and that we need to do it on the other way for the next tribes. And we try also to manage some other procedures, like also internal procedures, papers for committees and so on, to change the logic and to change the structure, to change the bank. So to conclude, because we have still a few minutes left, these are like my lessons learned from the whole process, from the adventure. And I said the tribe is working for one month and a few days. So most of all, be patient. This is not one of my best characteristics, so it's a challenge for myself to be patient, not to expect that everything will run and will be decided fast and quickly. Understand why. I need to motivate the people, and I need to understand why we are doing this and to transfer it also to my colleagues. So for me, the why, the strategy is very important. Don't be afraid of mistakes. I have to admit that in Komerční banka we were not that much used to do mistakes, or it was our personal barrier. Like we think we need everything to have everything perfect. So this is another layer of the culture issues. So we need to know that we can make mistakes, and we don't need to be afraid of. These are also the messages I transfer to the team to make them work in quite pleasant atmosphere. Support your team. For me, the team is the most important in the Agile. And as I said, it was also in my previous positions when I was heading other teams. The team must work smoothly so that we can deliver results. Stay optimistic. During the whole time of the preparation, we had also some up and downs, and fortunately, opposite to be patient, being optimistic is one of my characteristics, so it helped me a lot that when the things were not going that fast or that well as I wanted, I just stayed on track and keep smiling. And share with the team, but share also with other colleagues in the bank. and also with a part of the bank that is not going agile, so that they can be inspired and think different for the future. So that's all. Thank you. That's my personal feedback.